so sometimes things are tricky, you know what I mean? And it's a little bit more difficult than just making the fight happen. But like I said, I'm pushing to make the biggest and best fights happen. And
the boxing world immediately started buzzing with one big question. Could the feared Mexican monster, a fighter who chased a showdown with Canelo Alvarez for years, really turn down a massive fight with the new pound-for-pound king, Terence Crawford? After the Canelo vs. Crawford fight, Turki sparked the discussion by asking if a move to 168 was possible. But the excitement didn't last long because David Benavidez himself quickly shut it down. His reason surprised many, yet the real story behind that refusal points to a smart, calculated plan rather than fear or hesitation. This wasn't just about one fight, it was a statement about his future and a quiet closing of old chapters. All of this came on the heels of an electric September 13th night, when Terence "Bud" Crawford stunned the world by moving up in weight and decisively breaking down the legendary Canelo Alvarez, a moment that reshaped the entire boxing landscape.
He hurt Canelo a couple of times, and he looked spectacular. Congratulations to Terence Crawford for that great performance, and man, it was a great fight.
Were you expecting more from Canelo?
I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting Canelo to knock out Crawford, to be honest with you, because it's a three-weight divisions. Well, he did fight one time, the higher division, but and to me, it's three weights, He had to go up a lot in weight. And that's what I was expecting. But at the end of the day, I got to give respect to Canelo. He has done so much in boxing that it will be hard for somebody else to achieve and make. He trained hard, and he said that he tried, but the body did not respond. And I've been saying that, the body is worn out. Canelo is young, but in boxing life, he's worn out.
While the boxing world was still absorbing Terence Crawford's brilliant performance, His Excellency Turki Alalshikh moved fast and ignited a new conversation by posting a simple question on social media asking whether David Benavidez could still make 168 pounds. That one line was enough to spark a dream matchup almost instantly, as fans began imagining a collision between Crawford's elite skill set and Benavidez's raw destruction. Benavidez, the undefeated two-time champion with a frightening record of 30 wins and 24 knockouts, had long been viewed as the division's boogeyman, the fighter many believed Canelo Alvarez avoided for years. On paper, the fight made perfect sense, combining precision against power in what felt like the most natural and explosive showdown possible, and with fans demanding it, money on the table, and the sport's most powerful promoter openly teasing the idea, the buzz felt impossible to ignore.
Too early. I think Terence is really funny. I love the way he lives his life. I love the way he brings his kids. If you watch his kids with the wrestling and stuff like that, he's just a winner. And I feel that, you got guys who are really, really, really good, and they're not really hell-bent on becoming a star. I put you in that category. I put Terence in that category. Maybe Shakur, where they feel like they don't really want to, Terence ain't bothered about going to premieres and, being on the front cover of magazines and stuff like that. But unfortunately, in the business, we have to try and make sure he has that kind of value commercially. So it's getting the narrative and the moments right to just showcase his personality a little bit.
What initially looked like a dream scenario suddenly hit a confusing dead end when David Benavidez shut down the speculation with a level of finality that left no room for debate. Speaking directly to FightHub TV, he made his stance crystal clear, stating that his time at super middleweight was officially over, a declaration that instantly put an end to any talk of him dropping back down to 168 and forced the boxing world to rethink where his career was truly headed next.
My plan is after this fight, I want to go down to 154. No, bro, I'm done with cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I said cruiserweight.
He still showed respect while shutting the door completely, congratulating Terence Crawford for a legendary performance and saying he belongs among the greatest fighters of all time. Benavidez added that Crawford should continue doing his own thing, while making it clear he has no interest in fighting Crawford or returning to 168 pounds.
I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I said cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity to, congratulate Crawford. He put a hell of a performance. He's up there in the Mount Rushmore of the greatest fighters of all time. And, let Crawford do his thing, bro. At the end of the day, I have no interest in fighting Crawford. I have no interest in going down to 168. It's nice that it would be dope winning all titles, but I'm way past that at 168.
The message couldn't have been clearer. This wasn't a negotiating move, but a firm line drawn in the sand. He erased any remaining doubt by saying he wouldn't even return to 168 pounds for Canelo Alvarez, stressing that Terence Crawford now owns that division and that his own time at 168 is officially over.
The only reason I wouldn't even go down to 168 for Canelo, and I'm just being real with you, and let Crawford do his thing, let him have his, let him. I want to give his flowers, man, because he's a great fighter, man. There's no other fighter that's coming up from 147 to beat a type of fighter like Canelo at 168. And Crawford, he's one of the greatest of all time. So, I have no interest in going down to 168. I'm not saying that I'm scared of Crawford or whatever, but Crawford's a man at 168. That's his weight class. I'm done with 168.
When asked if a massive $120 million payday could tempt him to come back, his response was a flat no, making it clear that this decision had nothing to do with money and everything to do with a much bigger picture he has in mind.
Boxing is a business, David. If they throw 100 million, 120 million to go down for either or, would you second?
120 million sounds good, but honestly, at the end of the day, no. No. But they won't give 120 million. I don't even think Canelo got 120 million for fighting Crawford, to be honest with you, but no, man, I'm done with 160.
The reality behind David Benavidez's decision goes far beyond the physical grind of cutting weight, pointing instead to a calculated shift toward a more ambitious phase of his career. He isn't avoiding a challenge at all. He's choosing a different one that better aligns with where he believes his future truly lies.
Throw whatever money they want at me. And my job is not only to get the money. My job is to give myself the best chance to win and to give myself the best chance of looking.
Benavidez has now settled into the light heavyweight division at 175 pounds, setting his sights on the champions who rule that weight class. His next target is a high-stakes showdown with Britain's Anthony Yarde, a fight that's scheduled to take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Let me know how this fight came about, because I was surprised that you went this route with Yarde.
Yeah, so there was a lot of options on the table. Obviously we wanted to get a great fight because the last fight with me and David Morrell lived up to expectation. I think it exceeded expectations. So we wanted to give the fans a good fight. We were in line for Bivol for the belts, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So we were looking, to get a crowd-pleasing fight, and we're trying to fight the best in the division of 175. If it's not the champions, we want to fight the next best guys. We're looking at some options, but the only one that really manifested itself was the fight with Anthony Yarde, and I think this is a crowd-pleasing fight. Anthony Yarde, he's a great fighter. He still has a ton of fight in him. He's been in there with Artur Beterbiev, Kovalev. So he's been up there with the top guys, and I feel like this is probably going to be the most he comes prepared for any fight because he's lost his last two title fights, and I feel like he knows that this is probably the last opportunity, not his last opportunity, but this is he has to take advantage of this opportunity. So I'm not taking Anthony Yarde lightly. I know he has a dog in him, I know he has a lion in him, but I have the lion in me as well. So this is going to be a perfect fight for my first fight with Riyadh.
He views this as an opportunity not just to establish himself as a global star, but also as a crucial stepping stone toward reaching the very top of the 175-pound division.
I'm very grateful for this, and not only am I grateful for fighting with Riyadh season, but I'm grateful because I don't want to just be a regional fighter. I want to be a worldwide fighter, and this is the first time that I'm going to fight in a different country, in Saudi Arabia. So this is going to be a little. It's going to be a gift for the fans in Saudi Arabia. When I went over there the first time to see Bivol and Beterbiev fight, a lot of people show love, and I know I have a lot of fans out there. So, this is going to be a great fight for all the fans in Saudi.
Benavidez is confident that a win is coming and sees it as a direct path to facing the division's most feared champions, Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. For him, building his legacy no longer runs through the division he once dominated, but through taking on the monsters that stand in his way. He's chasing true greatness, not just big paydays, and in his eyes, that greatness lives at light heavyweight.
Weight division, 175 pounds. You have the undisputed champion in Dmitry Bivol, who's reigning, but he has we think a rubber match with Artur Beterbiev scheduled at some point. Has it been told to you, David, that if you win this fight, you're gonna get a crack at either Bivol or Beterbiev?
It's not. They haven't told me specifically that, but just in the trajectory of what I'm doing, what I am. I'm world champion at 175 with the WBC, so it's inevitable. It's just when it's gonna happen. I take my career one fight at a time. I don't really let other fights kind of get into my brain. I'm getting ready for Anthony Yarde. I'm 100% focused on Anthony Yarde, and whatever comes next, comes next. But as for what I'm thinking of, you know, that's what else is there left? What other fights you guys want to see me fight? You know what I mean? Especially that we're here with Turki Alalshikh. We're getting these fights done. In my opinion, a fight with Benavidez or Bivol is next. You know what I mean?
But Benavidez wasn't the only one closing the door on this potential mega fight. In a surprising turn, Terence Crawford's camp showed little interest as well. Crawford's respected trainer, Brian McIntyre, quickly dismissed any talk of Benavidez being next, stating bluntly, "No, we ain't doing that fight." He made it clear that their focus was entirely on letting Crawford rest and recover after an intense 6-month training camp for the Canelo bout.
You know what? We're going to get back in the gym. We're going to get back in the gym, and we're going to assess that. And, you know, right now I just want him to go on vacation, have some fun, spend time with his family, man, because we trained for like probably a half a year for that fight. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of time spent away from home, a lot of time spent away from the family. So I just want him to just go get back home.
He emphasized that Crawford needed time off to relax and spend moments with his family, not dive straight into talks for another grueling fight. McIntyre's comments highlighted a key truth. This matchup was never seriously on Team Crawford's radar. The story wasn't only about Benavidez turning down the challenge. It was about two elite fighters heading in completely different directions, with neither camp viewing the other as part of their immediate plans.
Just feel the need for Benavidez.
Canelo?
Turkey dropped. You know, people are talking about it.
Turkey hit it at that. He was like Benavidez.
Yeah, he
Turkey,
did.
So.
Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benavidez and Terence Crawford.
No.
There. No, ain't doing that fight. Maybe planning on vacating the belts.
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts. You know, we just gonna sit where we need to sit for a minute, and then, just like I said, get back in the gym and do our.
To really grasp Benavidez's mindset, you have to consider the long, frustrating shadow cast by Canelo Alvarez. Bigger, younger, and relentlessly aggressive, Canelo was widely seen as the fighter Benavidez spent years chasing, only to come up short. That prolonged and fruitless pursuit seems to have left a lasting bitterness toward the 168-pound division. His choice to move on isn't just about career strategy, it's an emotional release. He's done waiting and ready to write the next chapter on his own terms.
You know, I think the type of person that Canelo is, he's going to be, oh, well, I didn't prepare for that fight, but now I'm prepared, this and that. You know, there's another storyline behind that. Because of the way he lost. He didn't go in there and get just beat up and destroyed the whole fight. It just didn't look like he prepared at all. And the fighter that was prepared, was Crawford. So, there could still be a big storyline, 175. Like I said, he could say, oh, well, now I'm motivated. Now I have a reason to train, now this and that. And it'll be a title fight for 175. So, everything is still possible right now. Then Canelo, what is he, like 35?
I think it's 33.
33, yeah. And then imagine Crawford was 38. So, I mean, I'm not focused on Canelo. I got my own stuff going on, but if there might be a way to make that fight happen. So, like I said, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just thinking about the fighters I got to take.
Seeing Crawford beat the man he could never face in the ring may have been the final confirmation Benavidez needed. He believes Crawford approached the fight with far more focus, implying that Canelo's ego got in the way and left him underprepared. By shutting the door on 168 pounds, Benavidez is also closing the chapter on Canelo for good, choosing to forge a new path rather than remain in a division defined by a fight that never came to be.
That Canelo was making, and I know all these people say, oh yeah, talking shit about Canelo. I'm not talking shit about him. He just didn't look like he really prepared 100%. He's throwing 10 punches around, or I think his ego is that big that he thought that, oh, I'm just gonna walk through him, catch him with a good shot, and it's gonna be done. As you can see, Crawford is a different type of fighter. Not only does he have the boxing IQ, he has that dog in him. He was in there. He was brawling. If I'm being honest with you, bro, I'm not happy that he lost. I kind of feel like that could have been me. That was my moment. You know what I mean? If I would have gone in there, I know I would have beat him. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be a hater, but that's kind of how I feel. But you know what I mean? I give all the flowers to Crawford. You know what I mean?
That should have been me in there. That should have been my.
If I would have got that fight.
This firm stance also reflects a deep personal transformation. Benavidez is no longer the reckless young fighter who once made headlines for the wrong reasons. He has openly admitted to past mistakes and faced the criticisms that followed, but those challenges have forged a stronger, more focused version of himself. He credits much of this growth to a renewed sense of purpose, grounded in prayer and meditation, and speaks of living a righteous life not just for his career, but as a devoted father and husband. This maturity has given him a clear vision of his goals. He is driven to be the best, to build a lasting legacy, and refuses to let distractions or short-term opportunities derail him. Turning down a fight with Crawford isn't arrogance. It's the disciplined decision of a man who fully understands who he is and exactly where he's headed, both in and out of the ring.
Spar with Bevo.
And you were younger.
I was 22. From seeing what I did to him in those sparring sessions, I'm very confident I'd win. But I'm not gonna, be a fool and just use confidence as the 100% fuel. I'm gonna go in there and work extremely hard.
You're looking to go up to 175 pounds and potentially get the winner out of Benavidez and Bevo.
That's why I want to be a part of these big fights too, because as you know, both you guys know, once you get a really good fighter in front of you, the training camp is different. The mentality is different. And when you get in that ring, you shine. That's what I want for myself. I want to be put in them hard positions where you have to use 100% of your skills. And that's why I feel like the best will come out of me. So I'm not scared of it. So whatever it is, even if light heavyweight isn't my final destination, I really want to go up to cruiserweight.
Ooh, so that's cruiserweight, just another, you're a weight class away from going to actual heavyweight.
Yeah. But we're gonna move one step at a time. We got light heavyweight. That's a division I've been wanting to go to for a long.
With the Crawford fight officially off the table, David Benavidez is boldly charting a new path that could take him well beyond the light heavyweight division. If the high-stakes matchups with Dimitri Bivol or Artur Beterbiev don't happen, he has a stunning backup plan, moving up to 200 pounds for a colossal showdown with fellow Mexican powerhouse Zorda Ramirez, a battle he believes would be an all-out war and a massive event for fans. This move highlights that Benavidez is chasing the biggest challenges, not easy paydays or exhibitions, fully focused on building a lasting legacy. Walking away from Crawford isn't a retreat. It's a strategic decision to push into even tougher territory, trading
Canelo
one legendary
Alvarez.
challenge for
However,
potentially
Danny Jacobs
deadlier
said Terence
opponents.
Crawford.
He's no longer waiting for a king to grant him an audience. Benavidez is on a mission to claim his own crown and cement his name among boxing's all-time greats.